Welcome to CIO TV. We're at CIODAY 2014, the place where everything is happening, 1,000 CIOs, and we're discussing all the things around enterprise communication and ICT. I have here Tom Homer, and he's from Telstra. And Telstra looks like an incredibly Dutch company, but you're actually from
Australia.
Yeah, can you go a little bit closer in the microphone? That's Australia. You're
Yep.
from Australia. You really have an Australian accent, right?
I don't have an Australian accent, no, because I'm actually from the UK. I'm
You're
sorry
from the
to
UK.
say.
So
We do have a few Australians in our office in London, but
I believe you.
none of them in the Netherlands, unfortunately.
Yeah, and Telstra is like the Dutch KPN, the incumbent, huge company, 30 billion or something like that dollars in sales.
Yeah,
4
we're a pretty
billion
big company.
in profit and 30,000 people. And basically, you are from the division, which basically, what do you do?
Yeah, so we help organizations in Europe who are growing in Asia with managing their ICT requirements. We help them because actually most of them come to us and say that they have challenges dealing with multiple suppliers, building ICT infrastructure, building cloud platforms, managing security. So we help them do all that.
Yeah, so basically the same message as Verizon is saying too, and a bunch of other companies, but it's more your backyard. Asia is more your natural habitat.
Yeah, Asia is our natural habitat, so yeah, we're experts in Asia. We've been operating there for around about 50 years, and we help lots and lots of multinational companies who are growing their business there, including Volvo, Ericsson, Robert Walters and Arup, who really want to grow their business and are accelerating really, really hard in Asia.
Yeah, and you've basically commissioned a report and research where you investigated 4,000 CIOs about how it is, what are the necessary conditions to be successful in Asia, and then especially on the ICT side, and what were the lessons learned?
Yeah, so we commissioned the report because we're really interested in understanding our customers, because if we understand our customers,
you can better help them.
We can fix their problems and help and work with them much more closely.
Of course. So what are the lessons learned?
Yeah, so the lessons learned, we identified some of the top performing businesses that have been operating in Asia that have achieved their financial results for the last 3 years and expect to achieve them for the next 3 years. And we called them the Asian business champions, the top 5%. Mm-hmm. And what that top 5%...
And those are European or American, or is it all everybody who's going?
Yeah, we've diced and sliced the report in lots of ways.
Okay.
But the top 5% performing European multinationals told us that one of the things that you've got to do is not expect results too quickly.
Very good, yeah.
A lot of organizations fall into that trap.
Yeah, and what is not too quickly? Is that 3 years, 5 years, 10 years?
I think it depends on the life cycle of the kind of business that you're in. The other thing that they told us was that you've got to balance the needs of local offices with HQ. You've got to do communication right. That's absolutely critical. That was the second thing they told us.
So HQ and the local offices, and what does it mean? Do you have to give them freedom locally, or do you have to make sure that the communication is done right, or what kind of things are behind that?
Yeah, you have to strike the right balance. So you have to get the right level of discussion, physical presence between head office and
lots of travel.
Well, some travel, but luckily a lot of our customers tend to use video collaboration tools, technology, and that's why we think we can help.
Yeah.
In order to make these things much more easy to deal with. And the third thing that those organizations told us was that it's really, really important to ensure that you are working really, really closely and the third thing, really, really closely working with partners. Building a strong partner network in Asia is absolutely critical.
Yeah, well, and there's a lot of social skills involved in dealing business. And to make technology work, you also have to have social skills, right? Because every country has their own way of handling this. How does the Australians, how do they manage that? Do you have local offices everywhere, or how do they have a certain technique to work with that?
Yeah, I mean, Australians are really good travelers. The Australian people travel incredibly well. And Telstra has offices across Asia. One of the other things that our report told us is that, cultural soft skills are more important than technical skills.
I would imagine, yeah. I would imagine. You need to get people on their side to solve problems. Everybody needs to give and take, and if you don't do that well, you have huge problems in China and India, and I'm sure in all the other countries too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, our customers and the survey results are telling us that most organizations start up building Asian businesses in Hong Kong and Singapore,
Yeah.
because the business environment's
Then you're-
relatively flexible and,
Yeah.
and relatively straightforward. And then they move on into the possibly more complex geographies of India and China.
Okay. What is the number one country? Is that China by far? Or
Well,
is
it depends on the
business?
objective of the business.
Yeah.
You know,
But what do
most
you
of
see
the,
a little bit closer to the
I
mic?
think most of the customers that we talk to that have invested in Asia for some time are moving on to seriously look at China and India now. But following those up pretty quickly, Indonesia,
Really?
fourth most populated country in
Yeah.
the world, 200 million Facebook users. We've just set up a joint venture in Indonesia with Telkom to bring cloud, managed network, security services to Indonesian multinationals.
Do you see something like you said about the soft skills and about the communication? Is video conferencing in business, is that growing 10% a year, 50% a year, 100%? Is it really becoming popular, or is it still at the infancy?
Volumes are growing massively. I can't quote an exact number, but it's huge. I mean, that's one of the reasons why Telstra's been investing in a number of interesting organizations that operate in the cloud and software
Yeah,
world.
Box, right? You
Yeah,
invested
so
in
we've
Box.
invested in a lot of businesses, including Box, the storage company, DocuSign that do document management, Telesign that do remote authentication. We've invested in Uyala that do digital video analytics for media companies, and they actually also invested in Video Plaza that do ad insertion technology.
And you see also after you do an investment, you roll it out into the portfolio for your customers. They
Yeah,
really
our enterprise customers are really excited about the idea of working with a single partner to integrate much more closely.
so it's a
across-
nice, if you invest in the company, you also give them a lot of business.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, exactly. And we also help them go to market, and they potentially help us as
And
well,
Box,
where we don't have.
So do you work with Box? Do
Yeah.
you see that you basically
Yeah.
every company?
So every
you work
company
with-
that we invest in, we're investing in them for a reason. And interestingly, one of the things that we've done now is we've moved forward from the pure venture investments that we've made. And a couple of months ago, we announced that we've now taken 100% of Uyala into the Telstra family. So they're now part of Telstra as a whole. And that's as a result of a 2-year investment that we started, and because we think that there's a great future for video analytics.
Yeah. Is there any big growth in Europe? I mean, we've had this whole manufacturing, in China, and we had the whole outsourcing in India. Is everything stable, or is it really? Is there still growth in certain areas?
Well, the growth that we're seeing is in European multinationals growing into and out of Asia, particularly obviously from Europe into Asia.
Yeah.
Our international business is growing 20% year on year, and that growth is driven by Dutch,
By
French,
companies who are really doing it.
European organizations that are growing into Asia.
Are the Dutch
So
active?
I don't really.
Are the Dutch active?
Yeah, Dutch are very active.
Yeah.
We're,
what is a company
we're-
which is a client of yours which you help grow in Asia? What's an example?
So Rabobank are already a customer of Telstra, so we already work with those guys. And in Europe, we work with people like Ericsson and Volvo, who are kind
you
of
told
big
me.
European names.
Okay. Well, so we see it, some lessons learned from, if you want to go from Europe to Asia, soft skills, technical skills, but mostly understanding communication. Thank you very much, Tom, for coming
Thank you.
here. This was CIO TV. We'll have Ben van den Burg in a minute.